Hi, my name is Abubakr. I'm from Bethnal Green. I went to school in Tower Hamlets. I'm currently working for Linklaters as a member of their pro bono team. I grew up in Bethnal Green. I went to multiple primary schools. It's just because we were moving around. And then eventually, for secondary school, I found some stability. I went to an independent faith-based school in Tower Hamlets. It was in Whitechapel. And thereafter, I went to, at the time it was called Sir John Cass Sixth Form, today it's called Stepney All Saints. I did my A-levels there. Growing up in Tower Hamlets, I have good memories. I myself am Bangladeshi. Most of the community is Bangladeshi. So there is a familiarity with everyone, with the culture. In school, everyone was pretty much Bangladeshi. In the area where I lived, even though my building where I grew up, there weren't that many Bangladeshis, but the whole area of the community, it was very much Bangladeshi. So you didn't feel like an outcast or anything. It was really good community feel. And I went to, because I went to an independent faith-based school, many people came from very similar backgrounds, very similar values, similar families to my own. And that really worked really well for me. I really enjoyed my secondary school years. I decided to go to Stepney All Saints because my sister went there. I actually took, many people might be familiar watching this, that there is an insistence in the Asian community for, I'm the eldest in my family. I mean, I have an older sister, but of all the boys, I'm the eldest. So there was an insistence that I should go and become a doctor, firstborn perhaps. But I did exceptionally well in all the written subjects. And I remember I went to fill in my form at Stepney All Saints, and the woman said, "You've not taken a single written subject. It's all maths, biology, chemistry. Why?" And then I said, "Well, I feel this pressure that I should become a doctor." He said, "But I don't think you would enjoy it. Maybe, do you want to reconsider what subject? These are the subjects that are available." I said, "I would love to do those." She said, "Why don't you just do them then?" Yeah. And then I said in that moment, "Yeah, why don't I?" So I literally crossed out all those subjects in that moment. And I took history, English literature and sociology, and Arabic as a fourth subject. I remember we did The Great Gatsby, we did King Lear. I really enjoyed King Lear, really great subject. We did Streetcar Named Desire. We did a lot of the classics actually. So I thoroughly enjoyed it. The teachers had a really good relationship with them. And history was the most challenging. The teachers were very good. And I really enjoyed that we covered Indian independence. Because of my ancestry, you go back to that generation. My parents, my dad is elderly, he's in his 80s. He remembers the British Raj very faintly, but he remembers it. So it was a really good way to engage with my heritage. So I think it came quite perfectly together. And the people I met, it was a good time at Stepney All Saints. I just thought I'd be a barrister, but I had absolutely no idea what a barrister does. How do you become a barrister? I thought maybe it was synonymous, a lawyer, barrister. A lot of people ask this question, what's the difference between a solicitor and a barrister? Aren't you all lawyers? Or what's the difference between a lawyer and a barrister? You get that question a lot. So these questions didn't even come up. I just did a very simple analysis. If you want to be a lawyer, you need to do law. If you want to do law, you have to be good at writing, analytics, analyzing. So I just did a very basic reading, and so I just knew I'm going to do law, and then from law, I'm sure when I go to university, I'll find out how you become a lawyer, and then I'll just take it from there. So it was just as I went along, I was discovering this world. I went to City University of London. I went to do law there. I fell short, agonizingly short of my expected A-level grades. So City wasn't my first choice. And the reason I actually went to City in the end is because there was a scholarship offer at Stepney All Saints, and when you applied, you had to put your firm offer and your insurance offer, and I put both, and then I went through the whole interview process, and then they said, congratulations, you're going to get a scholarship. It doesn't matter which university you go to, either of those. And I was very confident that I would get my firm, and maybe I was too confident, and I just fell short. And so I did go to City. All my fees were paid, so that was nice. So I decided that I want to be a barrister. And so I tried to find like common patterns with people who became barristers. Most of them often had a master's. The master's I did was international economic law. Queen Mary had a specific master's for that degree. So, and they had a scholarship for that. So I applied and I got the scholarship, and I did that degree. So I went to Queen Mary, I did my master's there. I felt maybe I don't, on paper, have the credentials to actually compete with what's out there. So I said, I need to have an Oxbridge degree, I think, to really make a mark. And at that point, I said, okay, maybe I should do a second master's. So I decided, okay, I don't want to do a law degree. I want to go to Oxford or Cambridge, and I want to have a degree that will be beneficial to my community. So a really personal degree. So all of those things combined together, and I decided I'll do a master's in criminology. So the best place to do that is Cambridge. The leading academics in that field are professors there. Their Department of Criminology is the best in the world. And so I said, yeah, I'll apply to Cambridge. I try my best to be a devout Muslim. So in the Muslim community, there is a prohibition on interest-based loans. And now you have £9,000 to pay for university. So that was the debate in the Muslim community. But everyone said it would be best if you can finance it yourself. Obviously, none of us can, but I thought it would be good if you can get a scholarship. And so then Stepney All Saints, they had a scholarship that you had to apply for. And then, if your application was good enough, so they consider everything, your grades, your reference. I applied, I was lucky, I got an interview, and then we had a really good dialogue. I didn't know at the time, but it was in association with Switch now. Back then it was called the Tower Hamlets Education and Business Partnerships. I hope I'm getting that right. So I remember that was on the form, but the interview process was done entirely through the London Metal Exchange, which isn't far from here. But we did have what they call in the bar is called mooting. That's like demo court cases. So what they would do, they give you a fictional scenario, and you have to fight that case using actual law. So you have to pretend like it's a real case, and you'd be marked on that. And there was like I think a module that everyone had to do, and then the university actually organized like mooting tournaments within the university, and then you would compete against other universities. So in the second year, I did really well in that module where everyone had to do it as part of your grade, and I did really well. And I remember one of the tutors said, "Have you done mooting before?" I said, "No, this is literally my first time I've ever done it." But because I was very much involved in public speaking in school and in college and debate societies, I had to give speeches as well in the school and assembly. So I just had a feel for standing up and speaking. And so I thought, okay, let's see. If there's no more modules, I'll go enter the tournaments. So I entered, and I progressed through the rounds. I was very surprised how far I would go, but I gained my confidence each time. I won a tournament at the Supreme Court. They hosted at the UK Supreme Court. To become a barrister, you need a law degree, and you need to do the bar course. And if you don't do a law degree, then you have to do a law conversion degree, which is 1 year. The bar course is £20,000. £20,000 for 1 year, and that's before your expenses for food, for accommodation. So how do you pay for 20,000 fees? How do you do that? So what the bar has is 4 inns. So you have Middle Temple, Inner Temple, and then you have Lincoln's Inn and you have Gray's Inn. So those are the 4 barristers' inns, and everyone has to be a member of one of those 4. But, they all have a huge fund, scholarship fund. So what they do is they'll interview people who want to become barristers, and hopefully that will pay for your bar course. And I applied the first year, and I didn't get a scholarship. I had no idea how to approach it, what to expect from an interview. So I just decided, I'm just going to, I'll somehow make the fees work. I had a few savings, not enough. And then I applied to a partial scholarship at BPP, and they gave a grant, and I had some savings. And then, so I was able to pay like 50% on my own. The bar course itself is very tough. It's 12 exams, and it's a mix between like speaking exams, advocacy, and then a lot of textbook heavy examination central exams. So it can become quite overwhelming. I did the bar, and then it was about, this is the next stage, you have to get something called pupillage, to where you are a pupil. So someone junior to someone senior. So what would happen in that 12 months is 1 year long pupillage, and you are a junior to a barrister, qualified barrister, and for 6 months you will work pretty much on their cases, and in the second 6 months you'd work on your own cases, your own caseload, and they would supervise you through the whole 12 months and assessing you, telling you this is where you went wrong, this is where you went right, this is where you need to improve, etc. And at the end they decide if they want to keep you on, and that is called tenancy. So when you're a tenant, you want to establish you are a fully qualified barrister. In the bar, for me especially, it demands all your skills to be used, and the sheer range of the bar, the clients that you come across, the areas of law and the subject areas that you have to sort of venture into, it's so fascinating and it's so varied that it's just, you're just constantly learning, and I like that. Tower Hamlets, it's very, if you are talented, if you are bright, you're like a prize jewel for schools and for the community, and you will get that attention, and they will try really hard to like make you accomplish your potential. So I always got a lot of attention from teachers. They also pushed me, like for example, like the scholarship that I got at Stepney All Saints, is because I was given that encouragement from friends and teachers that I could get it. Yeah. If you want to be someone or accomplish something, they really treasure that, and that will be really emphasized and pushed. That was my experience, and they would go out their way to help you. We have so many resources today, so much support available, that there is really no excuse not to be able to do something. So if you want to do something, the support is available. Yeah, you just need to find it. So if you're proactive, you will find it. So don't let anyone tell you for a single second ever that it can't be done.